Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of The Creative Pause. My name is Susan Padron, and I'm here with my co-host, who I will allow to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Stacey. It's so good to be with you again today. We hope that this time offers you a smile in the day and a way to connect in at this time that we're all navigating, which can be difficult. And so we're here to offer that pause in your day and in your space. And we're particularly excited today because we have Jessie Marley with us, who is going to talk with us about music. And I know so many of us, even in regular times, music is a lifesaver, but I think especially now it's something that's really grounding. So we're excited to get into that, and we'll introduce her more formally in a moment. But before we do, we always start out asking how everyone is doing and just keeping it real on this show. And if you're having a great day, that's awesome. And if you're not, giving yourself space to feel that and talk about that. So as you're listening at home, maybe write it down, say it aloud, find a way to share it with somebody that you love, and just kind of check in with yourself in this moment. So I will share, Susan will share, and then Jessie will share a few words. And I hope you can hear some of yourself or sort of resonate with some of what we'll share today. So I will start. My day is okay. It's pretty good. I've definitely had some rough days this week, and it feels good towards the end of the week to be feeling, because we are taping this on a Saturday, to be feeling, or Sunday rather. Oh my goodness, we're on a Sunday. Susan's shaking her head like, no, Stacey, it's not a Saturday. Clearly, I have no sense of time. But it feels good to have a little bit of the breathing room a weekend can offer, and to not have to feel so on, during the week. I think even with our lack of schedule lately, or just how time flows in a weird way, weekends can offer a little bit of space to be like, okay, like I can just maybe do some things to take care of myself a little bit more, and have, my husband's not working on weekends, which is nice. So it gives me some time to just feel a little bit better compared to maybe how I'm feeling other days when I'm sort of taking on the entire work, house load of caring for a toddler and gestating a baby, and, trying to do all the other things with my business and with this project. So, um, yeah, so actually in this moment, I'm having a good moment and trying to embrace that and absorb it as much as I can to get me through some of the other moments that have been difficult. How about you, Susan? How are you doing?
Um, Today started out kind of rough for me. I had trouble getting out of bed this morning, which is not my typical. And I think that it came from, I never really sleep well. I haven't for I don't even know how long time. Part of the reason is because I have three cats and a dog. The dog is fine. He sleeps, and it's like he'll get up when we're up. Same, my son sleeps through the night, has for a long time, except on like the rare occasion. But my one cat, who's our oldest cat, he's 12. Um, he just has pushed back the time of when he wants to be fed first thing in the morning, earlier and earlier and earlier, where it was at around like 5:30 a.m., which is when I used to get up when I was a teacher, which I haven't been for like 3 or 4 years now. Um, and for some reason, it's gotten earlier, and now he wakes me up anytime between the hours of like 3 and 6 a.m. to be fed. So he's a real jerk about that. But he's cute. He's great all the other times, so that's why he's not dead. Um, but I also have like night sweats from one of the medications that I'm on, which also just like kind of disrupts my sleep schedule. Um, so I've never really been a great sleeper, or haven't been for a long time since, the cat and the medication. But last night, I think I made the mistake of doing some research on the news, which I've been not like actively avoiding, but been more strategic about in terms of what I read. And last night, I just got sucked into certain content that just like put me in a hard funk. And then I talked to my husband about it, and it didn't really help. And then we went to bed. So I think like just all of that just kind of like stuck with me. And so waking up this morning was just hard. Um, and I share that because I know so many of us have days where it's just hard or straight up impossible to get out of bed. Um, and I want you to know that you're not alone in that. And like, this is coming from a person who does a lot of inner work and a lot of like meditation and mindful work, mindset work, mindfulness, and has an overall optimistic outlook on life. And some days just start out hard. And thankfully, throughout my day, I've had so many opportunities for laughter and joy that I feel a lot better now. And that's okay too. But it's just some days are a process and you experience it all. And um, that's okay. So that's why I wanted to kind of share that with all of you today. So, Jessie, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm doing well. It's important that you said that. Some days are total crap and some days are fine. And like that's also something that you do have to remind people that it's okay to have a good day and then a bad day. And it's also okay to have a bad day and then have it turn into a good day or vice versa. It's totally okay. People put so much pressure on themselves to like, I need to be happy all the time. Like, no, it's freaking okay to feel like crap. And the news, that's a trigger. That type of stuff. I totally get it. So you know, I'm doing okay, but I do have to watch out for things that I hate using the word because now it's like a word that everybody uses trigger, but it's real. It's a real thing. You have to watch out for triggers. And that's definitely something that I can fall into as well that could completely consume my mind. So, today's a good day. I haven't fallen too deep into that, but, yesterday we did actually watch the news and a couple other little things. And then people were having conversations and I'm like, I know that this is going to steal my peace. So I need to walk away from this and find something else to do. Of course, I went to music. So I'm doing good, but yeah, that's how I'm doing right now.
Well,
Thank you for sharing all of that. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Stacey.
I appreciate you both sharing that. I've noticed for sure the link between like news content and I've made the mistake. Well, I mean, I typically, for me, New York Times is where I get a lot of my news, and I've narrowed it at least down to that because I'm like, at least I'm going to just choose one news source. But then if I do it before bed, forget it. It's just, I'm just laying there in anxiety mode for like an hour or more. And so, yeah, I've been trying not to do that, but I have nights where I do it because I'm like, oh, I haven't checked it yet today. Let's see what's happening. And then I open it and I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know what I expected, if I expected it to make me feel better, but no, that's not going to happen. And so, yeah, I think it's, I don't know. It's definitely a time to just be hyper aware of like what you're ingesting, like, of course with food and things like that too. And we've talked about that on the show, but what energy are you ingesting or like content or, whether that be on social media or news, because it can really affect pretty strongly like where your mindset is this whole time.
Yeah, you're totally right, Stacey. And yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking about like reading the news at like it was maybe like an hour or so before bed. I don't know. It was the poor choice on my part. I think I was really hopeful, really hopeful. And then I think that was also part of like the letdown. I was like, oh, there isn't like any good news right now. That's cool. Great, good. Maybe I'll talk to Tony about it. Oh, no, he hasn't heard anything good either. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Yeah. So that's great. Like, I don't know. I have to laugh about it because it was just like it was interesting. But yeah. So today is we're in a better place finally, which and by we I mean me. I'm in a better place. Thankful for just what I've been choosing to consume and choosing to do. And I think it's also important to share that by even though you're choosing what to consume and what content to expose yourself to, that doesn't mean that you're like la la la, I don't know, like not hearing what's going on, tuning it out. But what like Jessie was saying, it's being conscious of what's going to trigger you. And Stacy too, like what you were saying about only reading the New York Times, like just being more conscious of the sources of your news. And that's, again, I think I just have to be like even more um, aware of that and just narrow down my like where I'm getting my content even more. And I think what tripped me up last night was that I ended up reading an article that someone who I really respect shared, and that's what kind of like got me like tripped into it. And I think that the lesson there is just that we're all, I don't know, like grasping at straws in terms of information. And you can't let that throw you. You can't be like, oh my gosh, this person who I really respect is sharing this information. Like it has to be valid or it has to be relevant. It's like, oh no, now I'm just feeling like garbage about this. So anyway, yeah, happy that we're here and happy that Jessie's on. And I would love to share the quote that Jessie shared with us. So I'm going to pull that up so we have that in front of us. And there we go. So the quote that Jessie shared is by Dwayne Allman. It says, I love being alive and I will be the best man I possibly can. I'll take love wherever I find it and offer it to everyone who will take it. Seek knowledge from those wiser and teach those who wish to learn from me. So Jessie, what was it about this quote that made you choose it to share with us today?
Well, Dwayne is actually my like spiritual animal guide in music. The Allman Brothers are my favorite band, and Dwayne actually died very young. He was like 24. Um, Probably the greatest guitarist in the entire world who died, and he worked with so many amazing musicians. Like, so people, in their 70s and 80s, like refer back to Dwayne, as like gone too soon. This guy knew so much about life at such a young age. And I just constantly think about where he would be today, how much of the world musically he would have impacted more if he were to be alive. But he talks about this at such a young age, being alive and being the best person that he could possibly be. He was just, it just reminds me to like surround yourself with people who are better than you, to always stay right on track. And he like seeking knowledge from those wiser than me. That's always something that my grandfather told me. He was always like, surround yourself with people who are better than you, surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. You can learn from them. It'll make you want to step up who you are in terms of a person and how you want to behave. And reading something like that from Dwayne, who I already just like was fascinated with musically, knowing that he was on this like intense level of thinking, I was just like, this is like my person. Like I just, yeah, he's like my guide. You should see my little music library over here. It's like all Allman Brothers everything and books and stuff. So yeah, Dwayne is just oh, Dwayne's one of the musicians I go to when I need to get a reset and come back to who I am. So yeah, that's why I picked it.
I think that's awesome. And I think that so many of us have that kind of like spiritual guru musician in our libraries, and I can't wait to hear you share all of your insight into music today. So I'm going to hand it over to Stacy so she can formally introduce you, and then we'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, so we're so excited today to have Jessie Marley with us, otherwise known as Jam and Jessie. If you guys listen to 104.5 in Philadelphia, she's the night host and the new music discovery host there. And we got connected to Jessie through Heather Bellner, who was on a previous episode. Heather's a makeup artist that we love, and she and Jessie know each other really well. So we're so psyched to have two awesome people weave into this show. So Jessie is going to talk today about her sort of expertise in broadcast radio and how she's touched people through music, and particularly at this time, again, that we're all in, where music can really reach us on a much deeper level and help us traverse a lot of the difficult emotions, we've already talked about in the show and we've talked about many times. And yeah, I'm excited to hear her perspective on not only how that music can touch people, but also how it's touched you, Jessie, in this time, and like how it's helping you to kind of navigate. And Jessie's able to reach like a younger audience also with what she does. And I think it's got to be just fascinating, both how this is affecting a younger audience, but how can we help them, that generation sort of, get through what we're getting through and understand it through music. So Jessie, we're so excited to have you here, and you can take it away.
Awesome. Okay. So, yeah, I guess I'll start with the fact that I've broken this into different categories of how music can completely help you get through whatever it is that you're going through. It's more than just entertainment. And, I work in radio, and there are people who aren't, fully connected with music. They don't, they haven't looked into the treasure troves of how music can help them. It's just like background noise. So it's not just entertainment. There's just this whole world and world to explore of music, and so many different layers to it. It has psychological benefits. It has so many ways of like creative benefits, and just personal benefits. So I like to say I work in alternative rock, but I like to tell people that it doesn't matter if you listen to pop music. It doesn't matter if you listen to EDM, metal. There is literally something for everyone, and music can help you cope through the craziest things and help you navigate all of your emotions. So I have broken it into a bunch of different parts. First of all, your mental health can be completely changed for the better by listening to music. It can elevate your mood. It can motivate you. It can completely reduce your stress. It can help you relax, and it can increase the efficiency of your brain processing. So, ways that music can help your mental health. Like I said, it's more than just entertainment. You can use it in your day-to-day life. So, first of all, focus. I have a very hard time focusing. I am like, my problem is that I am so affected by music that it controls my every mood. For the average person, I'm sure that you can like figure out things like that. But if I listen to one thing, it puts me one way. If I listen to something else, it puts me into another. So I'm like, I addictively consume it. The average person, you could probably, tame yourself. So in terms of focus, classical music is one of the things that is proven to help you focus so much. There's something about it. It has a tempo of 60 BPM, that's beats per minute, and that increases your efficiency of the brain in processing information. So if you're working, you're doing stuff from home. A lot of people are working from home right now, and some people, for me, working from home, my focus is so much better because I'm never home. So I'm like, wow, I get to enjoy my house. But you guys have kids maybe, and you have animals and stuff, and you husbands and things to take care of, and you're probably running around. Your reality with this whole pandemic is so much different than mine, and all of us have different realities as to why it's affecting us. So classical music really can help you if you just have it on in the background, get your stuff done, whatever you need to do. I imagine you guys are probably multitasking like crazy right now. So classical music is such a great way for focus. Expression is another way that music can help. I use music to express my emotions and to process my emotions. Sometimes I can't speak. I'm feeling a certain way. Like Susan, you said today when you woke up, you were just freaking feeling this way. There are days when I can't even communicate how I'm feeling. I just can't even say it. But this one specific song, I'm able to feel something through that. Now, I'm not going to send that song to my boyfriend. Like, I can't actually, that I'm so like, emo, like I'd be like, I can't talk. This is the song that you need to listen to feel how I'm feeling. I would do something like that. But, listen to the song, a song that's going to help you, express your feelings. I also used to be in a band, and just making music, expressing myself through writing a melody. You don't even have to share it with anybody. Even if you can't play an instrument, but you have one lying around the house, pick it up, mess around with it. You don't have to send it to anybody. Come up with something. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And that's actually leading me into the next piece, which is creativity, how music can help through your creativity. You guys are creative people. I'm a creative person. Sometimes you're in a situation where you literally can't create, you can't come up with something. put on your favorite song, put on something that's going to make you feel a little bit better. Um, whether it's a creative project that you have to complete, or maybe it's ways that you just need to improve your mood, there's different types of music that you can see what will work best for you with creativity. And again, I can go over different types of music at the end of this. I'll show you guys what songs help me get out of certain situations or help me, push forward through certain situations. Another one is motivation. Music can help you be completely motivated. If you've ever noticed when you're working out, doing something like at your gym, or maybe you're home right now, nobody's at the gym, but you're doing home workout, you put on a specific freaking song, and there's something about that song that you're like, I did not want to work out today, but now that I have this on, it's like in your head that you just have to get it done. It's amazing what music can do for you. Maybe it's just even cleaning your house. Like the other day, I had to do my dishes. I had to, clean up all my bills, get stuff together. And I put on one of my favorite albums from growing up, and like my focus was there. I got all of it done. And it was one of the days where I woke up exhausted because I didn't get sleep the night before, which is awful. I'm not a nice person if I don't get enough sleep. I'm just not. I'm awful. But it can really help with motivation too. And then finally, there's relaxation. It's not a huge scientific breakthrough, but music can help you just relax. And again, it's putting on these certain songs that will help you. Um, what did I write down? It's like I use music as a secret weapon. So I have a list of songs that work for me. It's certain things that help me get through, when I'm feeling down, or get through when I'm really excited and I want to stay that way. I'll keep that band on or that song on. So you will learn to make little secret weapon playlists for yourself. And I'll show you exactly what I did for that. But just my personal experience of music, how it's saved me countless times. It is so insanely powerful. Now, working for Radio 1045 and working in the community that I work in, we're very tight knit. I mean, these are people, listeners, friends, fans of the radio station. It's a community. Music has helped me so much in my personal life, just the community aspect, whether it's sharing a favorite album and then having a conversation about it. Like on days where I'm just like feeling like I can't connect with anybody, but I want to, I'll find somebody who likes the same band as me. And then we'll share like, oh, check out this version, or when they performed this one in like 1996, check out this. Like I get out of my head like that. So if I turn on the news that day and I hate what I'm dealing with and I need to escape, it's not even that I'm, you know, ignoring what's going on with the world. It's not healthy for anybody to be watching the news 24/7. No one should do that to themselves ever. You need an escape. Seriously. And there the community that I have with music is something that like I am so grateful for. And I encourage you to get on Facebook and join these Facebook groups. Like I was never a Facebook person before, but when you start discovering actual Facebook groups with like your favorite band, join it. Like one of my favorite bands, the Allman Brothers. I'm on the Facebook group, Allman Brothers fans. You meet people, you talk to them, and it's all friendly. And that's just like it's helping you. You have a community. So I encourage you to definitely join Facebook groups for your favorite bands, your favorite songs, whatever. Get on there, especially now. People are home, they're alone, or they don't have anybody to communicate with. Maybe it's people who don't like going on the internet, which I completely understand. Facebook groups with your favorite bands and favorite musicians has been something that has been so insanely amazing for my mental health while all of this is going on, and especially for our listeners. Um, yeah, I guess my personal experience with that is literally just that, doing these groups, talking with people, putting on songs. I wrote down the community, going to shows. We can't do that anymore, but talking to people about it, it will change your mood. It will change everything in your entire life. I work and I talk with listeners every single day about certain music and what it's done for them in their lives. So that almost becomes like a therapeutic thing if you don't even have a therapist, but you're talking to them about, hey, I had this like really bad time in my life and this one band saved me and they helped me. And that's why I think our connection with our listeners and, bridging that gap between fan and musician is so important for Radio 1045, and it's important for what I do. So, yeah, did you guys want to like chime in or anything?
Yeah, totally. I love everything that you shared. My background becoming a personal stylist, which is what I do now, is I was a middle school music teacher for 7 years. I taught band. And music has just always been a huge part of my life. And it's so funny, like obviously I'm familiar with the studies that show how classical music is really helpful for focus, but being a former classical musician, I find that I can't listen to it because like that music education background that I have like turns on, and then I'm like analyzing the music, or it's like something that I've played and then I like go into, I'm like, oh yeah, I start like playing the flute along like in my brain, or like going back to that memory of when I performed that piece or learned that piece. um, but it's funny because music has the ability to really make so many different connections in our lives in so many different ways. Like now that my husband and I have a 5-year-old son, he's been exposed to all of the instruments that we have in the house because my husband was a former high school band and orchestra director. So we have, I mean, so many instruments. I like literally had to text my husband while you were talking, while I was thankfully muted, because I heard my son playing he was playing the slide whistle, which was fine. Then he was playing the trombone. And it was when I heard the trombone, I was like, hey, we're recording. Like, I'm going to need to talk soon. I kind of don't want real, like, 5-year-old trombone sounds like coming from the background of my recording, because it's going to be like, it's going to sound like farts, and that's just not cute. It's it's not cute. Not that we need to be cute here all the time, but like it was interesting. So the other thing that I was thinking about when you were talking, Jessie, is just the wonderful ability to share songs and share albums with other people to help create that deeper connection. And I mentioned this on a previous episode, but just recently, my son discovered the band Goldfinger, which is a band that I loved, still love, but like really loved when I was in middle school. And he overheard my husband and I listening to one of the songs that Goldfinger did, like via virtual recording that they put out. And now he's super into Goldfinger and has like wanted to hear their other songs. And it just brings me so much joy because I remember how much joy that album brought for me and that band has brought for me. Like, I mean, definitely when I first heard them and discovered them, but then throughout my life, like every time I would hear something by Goldfinger, it just makes me smile. And, my taste in music has definitely evolved, like it does for all of us, but they're one of those bands that like, no matter when I hear them, it just makes me happy. And now it makes me even happier to have that memory with my son too. I'm like, okay, like this is great. Like I love that he's into this. That just makes me happy.
Yes. Wait a second. Am I on mute? Am I good? Okay. That's exactly it. So you need to put that in your back pocket as one of your secret weapons. Goldfinger, go to them. That will be one of your, and when we walk away from this, hopefully you can create that secret weapon playlist for yourself. Go to Goldfinger. Seriously, because it'll help you remember those things. The first real concert I went to was Good Charlotte, and Goldfinger opened up for them, and it was at the Wachovia like center, and it was like just like the pit area that was open. And I remember crowd surfing, and it was awesome. And Goldfinger, they were so amazing. But it's things like that you have to remember. It's those specific albums. It's those bands. Like I turn on an album from Incubus. It's the album Science because it was like I was in like 10th or 11th grade, and I just remember like this, I was at a point in my life where I was discovering music and learning about it and all these sounds and everything, and I followed Incubus throughout their entire career. And now it's fun too because the internet world, everybody's around, and like all the music geeks like me, we're all like on our Facebook groups like, oh my god, check this out. So there's this new meme that's out right now, and it's like it's this famous picture of Bill Clinton, and he's like just listening to music, and he's got headphones on, and he's sitting Indian style, and there's like all these albums around him. So the new thing is to like fill in all those albums with covers of albums that you love. And I'll show you guys that too. It's on my Instagram, but I put Science on there. I put Derek and the Dominoes, which is where Dwayne Allman played guitar on with Eric Clapton. I have the Allman Brothers album Eat a Peach that Dwayne is obviously was a part of, and then another album is Rage Against the Machine's debut album, which is on my list of my secret weapon songs, which I'll get to. But yes, Goldfinger you need to do. And then talking about you being a classical musician, I actually have written down how classical music can help you focus, but I do have a note, unless you're like a musician, you might start over analyzing all of the beats and everything, which I completely understand, because being a musician and working with music, I overanalyze everything. So there's certain things that trigger me and make my mind race. So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's just funny. I cannot listen to classical music, and unless it's something that I really like want to turn on that part of my brain. And when my husband and I were selecting music for our wedding like 10 years ago, we were like, no, I do not want to hear any classical music during or prior to or during the ceremony, because I'm going to be like, well, I don't know if I really agree with how they interpreted that, like Mozart Appoggiatura, and like, become this huge like loser snob that I totally am. And like, I don't want to be thinking about that when I'm walking down the aisle. Like, no. So having to explain that to friends and family was an interesting process, but it all worked out. It was fine.
Well, it's interesting. Everything you guys are talking about, I'm like going down music memory lane, which I'm sure all our listeners are too. And I said to Susan, so I saw the poster behind your head, Jessie, the Rage poster. And I said, there's almost no other band that can get me into my like teen angst, like I just want to kill it mood than Rage Against the Machine. I don't know what it is about Rage. I mean, they were a brilliant band, but it's more just there's something like so powerful about their lyrics and their music. And yeah, and for me, music has always been so woven into my life, particularly with the bond I had with my sister, who she died over a decade ago. And she and I bonded over music, like as our strongest thing. I would go to basement shows with her, and we would go. She was my, I always say my sister Donna was like the person to be like running up on the stage. Like, didn't matter who the musician was, she would figure out a way to run up on the stage and like give them flowers, or whatever, and she'd be like pulled off the stage by a bodyguard, and she was like 2 pounds, and like those kind of like moments of, oh my God, I remember seeing X, Y, or Z band in someone's random basement in New Brunswick, New Jersey, when basement shows were done a lot there. And yeah, and that can be so powerful to come back to those moments and memories of people, especially now, I think when we're in this time of like, we can't hug our sisters or our family or be with them. And it's like, okay, what are those songs that can bring us back to that close moment, can bring us back to that bond? And yeah, and my son his name is Julian Bowie. Yeah, his middle name is like a nod to my sister, because my sister loved all kinds of music, and David Bowie's brilliant. Yeah, and we listen to music every day, and it's funny, he has all kinds of music shirts and whatnot, and he has one of them is Beatles, and he knows his Beatles shirt. He still wants to wear it, even though it's supposed to fit like a 1-year-old, and he's 2. And his David Bowie shirt, like he'll make jokes about feeding David Bowie in the band, which is hilarious. And there's like these moments that, what started out as like, yes, it was a nod to my sister naming him, with that middle name. And obviously Julian is sort of a nod to the Beatles. And, but every moment that we can listen to music together and we can, make jokes about feeding David Bowie on his shirt is like, it's just brilliant. And it makes my days so much lighter at this time that can feel really heavy, Yeah, music is just incredibly, incredibly powerful. And, anyone who follows my work out there will see that it kind of weaves its way into what I do. I mean, even I have a mourning ring that honors my sister. So it's a ring in my jewelry line meant to honor her. And it has a Smiths lyric, which is, "There is a light that never goes out." And for somebody who doesn't look into it, they'll think like, oh, that's nice, it's just a mourning ring. But it's like, no, actually it's a nod to the Smiths, because my sister was a complete and crazy Smiths fan and Morrissey fan. And we had lots of bonds over that, of just like going to Smiths shows together or Morrissey shows together, or not Smiths, because Smiths broke up well before, I could go see them as a band. But point being, like, music just can, I think, really bring us back to those moments in our lives that were so formative. And even if it wasn't formative for you, like maybe you didn't get into music till later, like there's still moments I think all of us can say, oh yeah, I remember that song. Like, that moment, that time that just it taps into something happy within you and can really help right now.
Yeah. I feel like music and tattoos for me are like the best way to really just capture moments in time and like major events or like developmental points in my life. Obviously, tattoos I didn't get until I was like 18 or 19. Music, obviously, way before then, but still, it's like these little like snapshots of time where you immediately go back to where you were in that moment when you discovered that band or that song or got that tattoo and um, and why it was so important for you to buy that album or share that album with somebody else or get that tattoo. It's like it's all just, a really incredible way to go back to those moments throughout your life.
You guys know so much about music. This is like so exciting. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. Digging deeper, finding those music moments and those songs and those albums and those bands that really, really help bring back amazing memories. That those are your secret weapons. And again, it's not. It's like I said. It's not safe for anybody to watch the news 24/7. And this is not a way to be completely naive to things that are happening. This is a way to give yourself a mental breather. And you're totally allowed to go back to reading the everybody should know what's going on in the world, but let's also remember why these musicians and these bands have put this music out to express themselves when they were going through certain feelings in their lives to get it all out. So you just have to respect the process. And this is the gift that they've given us, and we are so freaking lucky that we have music. Like I thank God every day for it because there are so many different avenues of music to discover. Whether it's analyzing, why they did this many beats per second, or why they decided to take the song this way and go back to it and revisit it. There's so many different worlds. I'm really serious. Like I encourage anybody who's listening to this, even if you don't like Facebook, because I hate Facebook. And me and my boyfriend always say we literally like only use it for the Facebook groups. It's to talk to our friends and even to talk to strangers. My life is about talking to strangers about music. I love it. So it's talking to them about, oh my God, that album that they put out this, do you remember this? Or it's like last week, it was the 25th anniversary of one of Oasis's albums. So it's like, oh my God, like let's dig into that. And even watching music documentaries, there's so much you can do with it. And oh my God, I could just do this forever. What I do, I'm a psycho for it. I literally do this forever all day. So like sometimes, I got to do other things like work out, but all day music there are so many avenues to discover with music that can help you get through all of this. And the thing, like I said, there's relaxation, there's, motivation, there's creativity, there's focus, there's expression. But I find that the social connection aspect of music is really what's helping me improve my mental health. It really is. It's just the way a song or an album made me feel. I know that there's somebody out there, if I post it in this group, that they'll like it, they'll heart it, they'll write something. Oh my God, that moment in that song did that for me too. So this is, what you can do for yourself. Use it as a community, as a way to, help your mental health throughout all of this stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah, I think that that's so great. And it reminds me of, as well, like an article that a friend posted at some point, I think earlier in this time that we're in, earlier in this pandemic. And it said, also take time to maybe listen to a full album, like what you used to do before, or those of us who are listening before you could get music on your phone, because back when we didn't even have phones or whatever, you would just put on an album, like a CD or maybe a record, and you listen to the entire thing, and maybe just lay there on your floor in your bedroom, like kind of listening start to finish. And he posted that article, and it really got me thinking about that too, of just like, what are some other ways maybe in this time we can take in music fully and completely, and the way that the artist intended for like us to listen to the albums, and to just create space for that. Like if you have the luxury to maybe lay down for that amount of time, or maybe even not, maybe listen to the album over a couple of days, or or late at night or whatever, when you do maybe have a bit of breathing room. But Yeah, I mean, that too is I think an interesting question of this time. Like, how are we taking in music, and how can we maybe do it in a way that is landing with us, like in this moment, and helping us stay grounded in this moment, if that makes sense.
It completely makes sense, and that actually reminded me, when I was thinking about this last night, things I wanted to touch upon. Um, I when I send out, I guess, maybe songs that, my secret weapon songs, I wanna send you guys to a list. There are so many live streams that are happening right now with bands that are doing, they're in their, a lot of bands that I follow, they live together, so they're still putting things out. What we're doing on at Radio 104.5, we're having bands log into our Instagram account. So we've called them Radio 1045 Instajams. And now, last week we had Group Love. They were all in house together. So they performed for us. On Tuesday, we'll have AWOL Nation. On Thursday, we'll have Lovely the Band. On Wednesday, I will have Haley Williams from Paramore. And now she does solo work. So I'll be talking to her, having a conversation about her new album. So there are different mediums and different websites and different places where you consume music that will help you. Like also a lot of the bands that I follow that I love, like Widespread Panic, Fish, they are doing live streams. So every Sunday night, it's called Never Miss a Sunday Show. You can watch a Widespread Panic show for 3 hours. It's on YouTube, and all these bands are doing this stuff for free. Where normally you would have to subscribe to something. No, it's all free. Like Fish does dinner and a movie every Tuesday night this weekend, and it's actually happening right now. PlayOnFest.com. They're showing all of these old festival performances from bands like Good Charlotte, Goldfinger, Panic at the Disco, 21 Pilots. So I can leave you guys with a list of awesome websites to check out how you're consuming music. Maybe you're a live music person and you don't want to listen to an album. There's literally something for everyone out there right now to kind of remind themselves, because for me, going to a show is church for me, and I haven't been able to do that. So my boyfriend and I and all of our friends will do Zoom, and we'll watch our favorite band on, like, when they're streaming something, and we'll be like talking and stuff. So I'll give you guys links for some of those things.
That would be amazing. Thank you. Because then we can include all of that in like the show notes and everything that we put on our website for this episode. Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for that. Because I mean, I can only imagine just how beneficial it's going to be for everybody who gets to check out this episode. Yeah, I love that so many bands have been doing live streams and live concerts, because when you said that going to a concert is like church for you, I've like thought of so many concerts that I've been to where, yeah, it's like, it's therapy, it's spiritual, it's just everything, when you're especially when you're at a concert where you can just feel the vibe of everybody around you, and you know that they are just as equally passionate about who you're seeing as you are. Like, even if you don't have a conversation with anybody, you can just feel it. And that like collective energy is so electric. And yeah, I miss that for sure. And I can't wait to like go to another concert like that and have that kind of experience. So in the meantime, having those resources that you were talking about is going to be awesome. So thank you.
Yeah, so I will provide you guys with those links. Finally, I think one of the last things that I had written down was using music as a secret weapon. There are certain songs that bring me back to my childhood. It's happy memories, albums that were with me when I was really discovering music and figuring out who I am. And then I have certain songs that take me back to a place in my life where I was completely lost, no direction at all, but found strength. And that happens in many moments of your life. It happens like late teens, then it goes away, then it comes back like mid to end like 20s, and then it comes back at like 30. It's like white girl depression, like, yeah, that kind of thing. Like, it happens in waves, and such is life, ups and downs. So making a playlist, or just write it down for yourself, like, hello, secret weapon songs, certain songs that help me stay up and in a positive mood. I mean, when I need to get stuff done, it's Rage Against the Machine. It's you know what it is, Stacy, you had mentioned it. It's the lyrics, it's the music. They caught lightning in a bottle. It was Zach's poetry. It was his fierceness. He's a minority. He is somebody who is dealing with something. I mean, the pain that's coming out of the things that he's saying. That's another thing. You guys should watch some live performances from Rage Against the Machine. If you're like, I need to get some. So sometimes my boyfriend's like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, He's like, "Are you angry?" I'm like, "Yeah, I listened to Rage Against the Machine and I'm pissed off about like the world, but now I feel like I can change it." Like, I need to get into modes like that sometimes. So I encourage you to make a list of secret weapon songs. And also, too, you should know that there also are trigger songs that I maybe would say are off limit songs for you. Anything Coldplay. No, I'm just kidding. But like, watch your.
Oh, it's so funny that you said that because immediately when you were talking about trigger songs, I was like, "Fix You" by Coldplay, and then you were like, "Oh my god, I am dying right now." That's hilarious.
Dude, I literally, when I was like writing it, I was like, oh my God, yo, stay away from Coldplay. But Paradise is fine. It's freaking Yellow and Fix You that you got to watch out for. No, but know some of your triggers because, like, they might be your favorite bands, but like I said, music controls me, and I'm very, very artsy fartsy, like overly emotional. So sometimes I'm like finding myself in a very like depressed mode. I'll keep listening to those songs because I want to feel, and I'm like, all right, Jessie, take it easy. But Dave Matthews Band is one of my favorite bands. There are some off limit songs from Dave that like I will just cry. And hey, look, maybe you need to cry. Listen to them, but watch with your off limits songs.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Again, Dave Matthews, one of my favorites. I've seen them. I don't even know how many times, but yeah, there are certain songs where it's like, oh no, no, we're not. Nope, skip. Like Christmas song, I think. Oh, yeah. There's a few that I'm like, yeah, I don't need this cry fest right now. Skip. But for the most part, they're like happy, fun, jam band, good vibes. But oh my gosh, Jessie, we are like I'm so glad that you're on today because I feel like you're just vibing so perfectly with Stacy and myself that this has just been fantastic.
Well, and it's funny you said the thing about like no-go songs. I came down the other day downstairs. I think it was actually after filming one of these episodes, and my husband's listening to Sufjan Stevens, and I was like, I just know when Dan's listening to Sufjan Stevens, I'm like, oh fuck, like he's in a moment. And so of course, in my like this was not smart of me. I go and I try to then like Sufjan ends, and then I go and I try to put on something more like upbeat, and that just made it worse because it was like reinforcing the like no, I just need to sit in a Sufjan space. So yeah, I think for all of us there are those bands. Sufjan for me too is one of those of like, I mean, he's incredibly talented and it's beautiful music, and it will make me bawl my eyes out, like particularly like the Carrie and Lowell album where he's talking about his mother's death, and oh my god. Yeah, but it was funny. It reminded me of that moment. Like, not like it was funny that my husband was in that moment, but it's just like I walked downstairs, I heard Sufjan, I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, you gotta watch with those. Like I said, like for me, music controls my life. It's a very amazing but could be a dangerous tool. But you gotta watch it. It's like witchcraft, like you gotta like be able to use it responsibly. And like if there's anything to take away from this, it's having secret weapon songs, a playlist. Watch your off limit songs, things that trigger you, and also watch for things that trigger you in real life so you can use music as a way to bring yourself back and happy and back in a positive headspace. So use it. I think that I encourage everybody to make a secret weapon playlist that that you can go to get yourself back on track. And yeah, guys, I think that we've got to figure it out. We're gonna get through it.
I would love for anybody who's watching this video or listening to come up with their secret weapon playlist and like tag the show, tag Jessie, like think about it. Even if it's just like 5 to 10 songs, like something that you need to just get you out of that funk, especially now. Yeah, I think that's a great little like easy task that everybody can do. Like, what's your secret weapon playlist? And like, let us know. I want to know. I'm curious. I'm like already starting to think about mine.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jessie. It's been so great to have this conversation around music, really refreshing. And can you let people know where they can best find you or link up with you or listen to what you're doing?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at Jam and Jessie. 3 M's because I just tell people I jam harder. So it's 3 M's, but also because there's somebody who stole Jam and Jessie with 2 M's. So whatever, I had to go a little harder. So it's Jam and Jessie, 3 M's. You can find me everywhere at that handle on Twitter, on Instagram. And yeah, the radio station at Radio 1045. And I do a topic each weeknight. I'm on the air 7 to midnight. And then on Sunday nights, tonight, I will be on the air 7 to midnight as well. 9 o'clock is the New Music Discovery Show where you can learn about new music. It's all brand new songs. It's songs from bands you've never heard of. It's songs from bands that you love that have new music. And it's local bands who I love so much. And I support them on my show. So you'll be getting a lot of new stuff. So definitely tune in for that. But yeah, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And like Susan was saying, like I will post something about this too, like secret weapon playlist. I do a topic each night and I talk about, what songs helping you get through. Are there certain lyrics? So my show at night, the topic is called Reply All, Radio 1045 Reply All. So I ask a question and then everybody gets to comment with their thoughts on it. So we will totally do a secret weapon one and I will tag the crap out of you guys because this turned out to be awesome to remind people of. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
That's awesome. And I assume people who aren't local to Philadelphia could also stream it. Or do you guys offer streaming services?
Yep, and I think that's where a lot of people are finding us these days on your smart speaker. Say, hey Alexa, play Radio 1045. You can just go to radio1045.com, or the best thing that you can do is get the iHeartRadio app, and you can find us there. You can just type in Philadelphia, we'll pop up. We're one of the radio stations, but Radio 1045 is alternative rock, and you get to hang out with me too, man. So we'll get to chit chat about music.
Thank you so much, Jessie. This was so much fun. It was so refreshing and just fun. And I loved all of the insight that you provided. So thank you for being here and for sharing everything. This like fantastic conversation. And yeah, I'm totally going to work on my secret weapon playlist like very soon for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jessie. And thank you everybody who is listening in and, thinking about music now and your secret weapons. We hope that this show has been uplifting for you and has reminded you of some of those great music moments in your life. So we always end our episode with the same line from the Mary Oliver poem or a Mary Oliver poem. And that line is, what will you do with your one wild and precious life? So what's the soundtrack to your life, people? At this time and every time, please do share it with us. We'd love to hear what you're listening to. And thank you so much, Jessie. We will see everybody in the next episode. Have a good day.